Arena! Hey, Christian here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today, we got some news, really early news. Do you remember this video that we got when the Chimera news and the what's next in Raid showed us what's that many updates were coming to the game? We got this video here. Let's watch it together. To Arbiter, Siegfried, Shazandad, and a new Mythical that we didn't know the name. Look at him. Very cool looking second form. Woo! We didn't know his name, but now we know. He's called Embrys the Anomaly, and he's coming to the game with the Chimera. We're gonna get parts from him from the Chimera new boss. Let's take a look at his kit, at his looking, and see what are our thoughts about him. This is the first form. Let's take a look. Very baseline first form, you know, nothing really crazy, just the pines on the spine and some death signs here. What's really weird, but that's the most important thing. This is Embrys the Anomaly first form. He's a mythical red affinity from the Night Revenants faction. Interesting. The other mythical from this faction is really powerful, that is Crixia, and it's a full support. She's a support on both forms. Or he came like a support, at least it's what we got here on the first form. But let's check his kit if it's a support itself. A1 Fatted Glaive. Attack all enemies, destroy each target's max HP by 3%, stacks up to 30%. Very powerful A1. Also increases the duration of a random debuff on all enemies by 1 turn, and this effect cannot be resisted if enemies have any Necrosis stacks. Necrosis is a new debuff. And it's a completely different debuff. Before reading all his kits, let's check what that means. So, that's the description of Necrosis, the new debuff that we're gonna have. When an enemy champion dies, a single Necrosis stack is placed on all other alive enemies. When another champion dies, an additional stack of Necrosis will be placed on all other alive enemies, and so on. For example, if you have 4 champions, no stack of Necrosis will be placed. 1 is killed. The 3 that's still alive, each one will have 1 stack of Necrosis. If 2 is killed, the 2 that don't revive, my finger, don't revive. Stay there. The 2 that are left will have 2 stacks of Necrosis. If another one's killed, the one that is alive, it's gonna have 3 stacks of Necrosis, and it goes on. Each Necrosis stack deals damage equal to 5% of the champion's max HP at the beginning of the turn, so it's like an HP burn. For example, if a champion has 3 Necrosis stacks, the damage equal to 15% of their max HP will be dealt to them at the beginning of their turn. So I think it's an individual damage. It's not an HP burn that deals the proc and all the team receives the damage. I think only the champion with the stacks will receive this amount of damage when they're having their turn. Necrosis stacks do not decrease upon activation at the beginning of a champion's turn, and Necrosis is placed on a champion irrespective of the number of debuffs that are currently on them. So it's like a pinpoint. You know, it doesn't decrease when you get a turn. You can have 100 turns. If it's not removed, it will stay there. But pinpoint is intercept, sorry. The intercept is a buff, and Necrosis is a debuff. And you can put 10 debuffs on the champion, and you still can get it Necrosis on him. Until now, Embrys the Anomaly is the first champion to have Necrosis in his kit. Let's see in the future if we're gonna have more. It seems like a really interesting skill. Let's see the mechanics with his kits. The damage dealt by Necrosis cannot be increased by other effects, and placement of a Stone Skin buff will remove Necrosis. So Stone Skin is the counter from Necrosis. If there are any dead enemy champions in the battle after a Stone Skin buff expires, Necrosis stacks equal to the number of dead enemy champions will be reapplied. So if you get a Stone Skin, the Necrosis goes away. If the Stone Skins break it or end, the Necrosis instantly appears on the champion. When a dead enemy champion is revived, a single Necrosis stack is removed from the alive enemies. If multiple champions are revived, Necrosis stacks will be removed equal to the number of champions revived. Oh, it's very interesting. So it's really an anomaly. It's an alive debuff. You know, by alive debuff, I mean, it's not fixed. As the battle goes, it changes. If you have 4 enemies alive, 0 stacks of Necrosis. 1 die, 1 stack of Necrosis on each enemy. If you revive, 0 stacks of Necrosis on each enemy. If 2 are dead, 2 stacks of Necrosis on each one. If 1 come back, it becomes 1 stack again. If other comebacks, revived, 0 stacks. If 3 die, 3 stacks of Necrosis on this one. If 1 come back, 2 stacks on them. And it goes this way. It's important to understand Necrosis before we go to the other part of his kit. Let's go back to his kit so we can understand everything. Let's read again the A1. Attack all enemies, destroy each target's max HP by 3%, stacks up to 30%. Also increase the duration of 1 random debuff on all enemies by 1 turn. And this effect cannot be resisted if the enemies have any Necrosis on their teams. So if someone dies on the enemy team, this A1 cannot be resisted. Interesting. So I think this debuff does not need accuracy because it's triggered by the amount of live enemies on the enemy team, or dead enemies if you say so. A2, Void Stare, 5 turns, and when booked can go to 4 turns. Places a True Fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, and a 50% decrease attack debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. These effects cannot be resisted if enemy has any Necrosis stacks, then grants an extra turn. So it's a double debuff, unresistible if there is anyone dead on their enemy team, and gains an extra turn. Interesting, that's why he has a very high cooldown, because of the extra turn. Seems decent but not very impactful skill. Let's see the A3. The Unmaking, 5 turns when booked goes up to 4 turns. Attack all enemies, nothing crazy. Removes and oh my gosh, removes any Stone Skin buffs and replaces them with True Fear debuffs. Block debuffs buffs will be replaced with block buffs debuffs. Oh my god, these break the meta. Only the first half of the skills already breaks the meta entirely. Because if this champion is built very fast, he can destroy the strategy of the enemy team. Also removes any buffs positively affecting stats and replaces them with their mirrored debuff equivalent, such as increased attack being replaced with decreased attack. Buffs such as continuous use and strength will be replaced with heal reduction and weaken. debuffs respectively, the mirrored debuffs will have the same duration as the buff before they were replaced. So this champion converts all your good buffs into debuffs with the exactly opposite effect. If you have increased defense, it's going to place decreased defense. If you have attack up, it's going to be attack down. If you have speed up, it's going to be speed down. If you have strength, it's going to be weakened. If you have continuous heal, it's going to be heal reduction. Oh my god. Oh my god. I want to see what's going to happen to shield. Destroy max HP. Then still 5% of each target's stun meter for each buff converted into that E-buff by this skill. Also decrease the stun meter of all enemies by 20%. This effect cannot be resisted if any Necrosis stacks are there on the enemy team. Oh my god. So many effects on this A3. Probably this is one of the best, if not the best, debuff skill in the entire game right now. This champion first form, the support form, probably got the best or one of the best in this meta debuff skills in the game. That makes him meta. Just because of this skill, he will be meta on classicarena, on livearena. Really interesting. Let's see the passive. Metamorphose, all the mythicals got, change his form to the other one and gain the next turn. Whenever an enemy is killed, the passive, wrongful existence. Whenever an enemy is killed, places a Necrosis stack on all other enemies. Necrosis stacks cannot be resisted or blocked. Interesting. Necrosis stacks can only be removed by reviving dead allies. This effect does not work against bosses and their minions. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill won't activate once. At the end of this champion turns, instantly activate any Necrosis on all enemies. Oh my god! So if you have 3 Necrosis on a champion, he gets a turn, 15% of the enemy HP. His turn ends, more 50% of the enemy HP. Oh my god. He's a very powerful support. He's a very powerful support. And he also got an increased ally HP in all battle by 35%. What I have to say about this first form, his passive and his A3 are amazing. His A1 is useful but not crazy. His A2 is not that good. But it will give you a better cycling through his all other skills because of the extra turn. Cool. Really cool. I love it. I love it. This seems a meta champion. This seems like a really meta champion. And everybody's going to have access to it. So because we can get him from the Chimera. Let's take a look on the alternate form. So guys, this is his alternate form. Really cool looking. Really cool looking. It's like the anomaly took control over him. And even his weapon is taken by the anomaly. Really cool. Really cool. And now the most important part, the kit. Let's take a look at his second form kit. Guy on his second form, which is really cool looking. He's an HP based champion. Seems like a nuker. Let's read the kit to be sure. Attack 1 A1 Unmaker's Blade. Attack 1 enemy, places an extra hit if the target has any Necrosis. Also places a block revive debuff if this attack kills an enemy. Brothers, it doesn't show up here, but we got the information that this form has 2 multipliers on their skills. He will have HP and accuracy as multipliers of these damage dealing skills. So he will be the HP version of Carnage. Even HP and the accuracy gonna give damage to all these skills. So he has a lot of damage potential since his skills have two sources of damage, and HP and accuracy, two really different sources of damage that fits very well a support champion. So probably he can change between forms really well without losing anything from one of other in terms of builds. Let's see the A2 atomize, attack all enemies. 4 turns can be bucketed to 3 turns. Deals double damage to enemies whose accuracy is lower than this champion's accuracy. Ignores 50% of each enemy's defense whose accuracy is equal to or higher than this champion's accuracy. Okay. So it's an AoE with accuracy and HP as source of damage. That if the enemy has lower amount of accuracy, he takes double hits. And he has higher amount of accuracy, it's a single hit that ignores half of the enemy's defense. Oh my god. Oh my god. He has potential. If his damage fits his looking, he will be very destructive. Let's see the A3. Your life is for fate. 5 turns cooldown can be bucketed to a 3 turns cooldown. Swaps HP with an enemy. If the target is a boss, fully restore this champion destroyed max HP and fully heals this champion instead. Interesting. Each time this skill is used, increases this champion ignore defense effect by 10%, while in their alternate form stacks up to 50% and grants an extra turn. Come on. So he has a mechanic of extra turn that improve his HP while makes his skill cycle fast because of the extra turn and gives him ignore defense bonus. Oh my god. Oh my god. We need to test that. If it's going to affect only the skill ignore defense, or if it's going to affect the passives, the masteries, and the sets ignore defense. Because this champion must be crazy if it affects them all. Oh my god. He has potential. A lot of potential. The Metamorphose, to go back to his first form, and now the passive, the Generator. 5 turns cooldown, okay. There is a passive effect. When this champion dies, reflects the damage equal to 50% of the fatal hit back to the attacker, including any surplus damage. Really interesting. So he has a grudge against whoever kills him. Whenever an enemy is killed, places 1 Necrosis stack on all other enemies. Necrosis stacks cannot be resisted or blocked. Necrosis stacks can only be removed by reviving dead allies. This effect does not apply against bosses and their minions. So it's the same secondary effect as the first form. So basically he can reflect the final blow. It's done on him. Oh, that's interesting. Active effect. If this champion is about to get killed by a fatal hit, pre-tempts that hit and instantly places revive on death on buff on them for 1 turn before the damage is taken. Oh my god. He has a really cool mechanic. Because look, when he's getting killed, the nuker is going to kill him. He will die, activate the passive effect of this passive, this part here. He will reflect half of the damage back to the attacker. The attacker probably will die, and he will come back with the revive on death. Oh my god, really good kit. So he's a nuker with 2 sources of damage, HP and accuracy. He has some survivability mechanics around death, extra turns, life swap abilities that gives him ignore defense bonuses and extra turns. He has block revive on the A1. Brothers and sisters and chase up. Come on. this champion, if his multipliers are not mediocre, he's going to be very destructive. He's going to be meta. If his multipliers are not mediocre, prepare yourselves. He's going to be incredible. And he also got an ally HP aura in all battles increased by 35%. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Embrys the Anomaly, the new mythical that is coming to the game through the new Chimera Boss. And I really want him. A nuker that strikes with HP and accuracy seems really good. Because Carnation is interesting, but he's really squish. This champion will be the opposite. He has survivability mechanics. He has crazy utility on his first form, the support form, and probably crazy damage with the same build on the second form. So I'm hyped for him, and I hope and got faith that player won't mess up with his multipliers. Please, please do not mess up with his multipliers. We want cool champions with really cool mechanics, and a free champion that many players are going to get. Can take a while, but many players are going to get. So, guys, if you like this kind of content, remember to, and as always,
It's all about arena.